Hi, everybody. Good evening and welcome to a special Facebook Live event. It's Happy Hour with Elizabeth and Ulli. I am Ulli. For everybody who doesn't know me, I am the founder and CEO of Pour More Skincare. And Elizabeth is the beloved host of Twin Cities Live and the amazing voice of Best in the Nest, beside the many other things she does. And she's going to join me in a moment. And we also have a special guest, the beautiful Laura Shara, coming today in. So it's just so wonderful. And before we get started, I'm going to introduce real quick my team member, Sarah. She's the one, we're going to put a face to, to the Pour More comments, because she's the one who facilitates it. So hello, Sarah. And before you say something, we have that new thing that I just have to try right now.
Thank you. So nice to be here. And I'm so excited to see so many in the comments already telling me where you're from and everything. Now, be nice to me. I've got a lot of you to respond to. So it's very exciting.
Well, Sarah is going to explain to us right away the secret word contest so nobody misses it, and what the secret word is.
The secret word for our contest today is France. So what you're going to do is I'm going to post the link to the sign-up form or the entry form. And when you go over there, you'll just fill it out real quick, name, email address, and put the word in France. It needs to be in the sign-up entry form, not in the comments. Otherwise it won't count. And then what we're going to do at 5:45 Pacific, 7:45 Central, 8:45 Eastern, I'm going to go and use Google random number generator. And from all of the entries, pick a random number, and that's going to be our winner of the beautiful, now Ulli, you're going to have to pronounce it for me, the beautiful necklace.
Fleur d'Or.
There we go.
Fleur d'Or, flower gold necklace. And in a minute, Elizabeth is actually going to show it to us. And she actually has it with her. So we are very excited about it. But that's being said, thank you, Sarah. You're going to join us via the comments. And I'm going to bring in Elizabeth right now.
Hi, friends. Hi, Ulli. Hi, Sarah. Great job. So fun. It's really fun to be back with you. Oh.
Yes, so much fun. And you have the necklace that we have to show, because I want to make sure I don't forget. Last time we said it a little bit too late. And then, everybody was saying they didn't. I know. It's stunning.
Can you even? Are you seeing? So the flower is hand painted on here, and then you can see the clouds painted on the back. And this is a stunning gold chain. I think it's 14 karat gold, isn't it, Ulli? Is that what Jenny said? 14 karat gold chain. Yeah. And it is just gorgeous. It's going to be so pretty. I'm modeling it sort of here, and it's so beautiful. I'm so excited for whoever gets to take this home. It's just been so fun to see everybody get to kind of start their little collection of special pieces. And I love how dedicated you are, Ulli, to sourcing a vintage piece of jewelry. I think that makes it so much more special when we do these events.
It is. And the jewelry store is actually owned by your beautiful sister, Jenny. Mm-hmm. And, you can just tell real quick the story, because I love the story so much. She was just heartbroken when they would just melt in these beautiful pieces.
Yes.
But you're so much better to tell the story.
Well, she saves things from the melt. So we mentioned the Emerald Karat. That is Karat. Get it? Like carat, as in gold. And her husband's family has had a metals refinery in the family for 100 years. And she would see all of these beautiful pieces just go into the melt. And she was like, oh my gosh, we have to give new life to these. So many of these beautiful things are absolute works of art. And so she saves them from the melt. She'll do things like, just make sure that they're in great condition. Maybe she's like taken cufflinks for me and then gotten them turned into pendants. She'll do some really cool things. And then she will sell them through her Instagram account, which is the Emerald Karat. So lots of you, I hope, already follow the Emerald Karat on Instagram. I think you should. It'll become your total addiction. And it's fun to see where everybody is writing from: LeSueur, St. Peter, Lakeville, Maple Grove, Apple Valley, my blessed homeland. This is very fun. Mendota Heights. We even have some people piping in from Scottsdale, Arizona, and all over the place.
Yes, so wonderful, because we have such a special show today, because we have the beautiful Laura join us, and we just can't wait. So should we bring her in?
Let's bring in Laura Shera from Minnesota Bound, and my dear, dear friend. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you both? Good?
Hi, Laura.
I cannot hear Ulli right now. I don't know why, but I can hear you, Elizabeth.
You can hear me, but can't hear Ulli. I can hear Ulli, okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I just was sending Sarah an email just to let her know, but
not quite yet, huh? You can hear me. Ulli, why don't you test it out with Laura? Let's see.
Yes. You know, Laura, I'm going to take you out and take you in again.
I cannot hear Ulli. I could hear her earlier and then it just fell off.
That's so crazy. She's going to boot you out, Laura, and then put it back in. Maybe Laura log out and log back in too, because sometimes
maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, you never know.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Don't go
anywhere.
Far. Yep. Otherwise, I can be the intermediary. I'll just repeat everything Laura and Ulli says. That would make for a really fascinating evening of how that's going to go. I'm so excited that we get to have Laura here, though. You know, Laura and I have been friends for, oh my gosh, 15 years. And we'll tell the story, but I have been telling her about Pour Moi for 5 years. And every time we chit chat, we're like, what are you using for this? What are you doing for this? And Laura is finally on board with Pour Moi, and she's like beside herself. It's her favorite thing. And she was doing what a lot of people do, which is kind of like chasing the high of a skincare, of just trying to go, okay, this one's working, and it's working for a few months. And then you find that you're not getting results anymore, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And it's because your skincare isn't built to shift with the seasons like Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare is.
Yeah. And, you know, Laura told me that the first product that she tried were the raindrops, and that it doesn't matter what skincare she tried. She was never hydrated all day. It would stop at a certain point during the day because, you know, she's a lot of outdoors, a lot against the elements.
Yep. And traveling a lot.
The raindrops fixed it for her. And I think that's where she was open to do it. But why don't we ask her herself? Because now we're going to try it again.
Okay, let's see.
She can hear my German accent now.
I think she can.
Can you hear me?
See me? I can hear you. Is my video stuck?
Your video's frozen, but I feel like it's going to happen. You look like surprised and shocked. Yeah, and a little bit concerned. For a minute. I know. Maybe click your video off and then click it back on. Isn't this exciting how technology is so great?
Isn't that weird?
I know.
What?
Here we go. And maybe it'll be the third time will be the charm when we make this all happen and work beautifully.
Before the video worked perfectly.
There we go.
There. Yeah.
I'm moving. Okay. There we go.
Okay. Hold on real quick, Elizabeth, Laura, because we have something for this.
You get applause.
Oh,
and it worked.
I love that. We need the in-studio laughter button.
No.
Remember that from the 70s show?
Oh, here she can do it.
Yeah. That's a good idea. We don't have that one. We have
find that one.
When we get the secret word.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh my gosh.
So it's so much fun to play with it.
So fun.
So Laura, we were just talking about how I've been hassling you forever to use Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare, and sort of that idea of like chasing the high of the skincare. But what have you noticed? I'm interested in what you've noticed just from integrating these products into your routine.
Well, I noticed a very big difference. And I think one of the benefits of trying it in the middle of winter is my little condo apartment here that I'm here in Minnesota. And I'm renting this place, and it doesn't have a humidifier in the furnace. Mm-hmm. So it's very dry, and I was feeling it was like really dry. So I got those little thermometer gauges you can put on your refrigerator that tells you the inside temperature and also the humidity percentage of the indoors, because I like to sleep in cold air. So I want to make sure it's like 68 for sleep. But when I was looking at the humidity, it was telling me it was at like 15 to 18%, which I think is about this desert level.
I know.
It's dry.
Low desert level. Everything below 30% humidity, the skin cannot benefit anymore of the water molecules that are in, or the humidity that is in the air. And that's where it really starts to turn dry. Yeah, it's the 30% where the cutoff is.
Okay. So I was noticing even like immediate headaches, really, dry nose. So I bought 4 humidifiers and now I have them running. So I'm up to 30%. But when I was using Pour Moi, as I had told Uli that my other skincare products, I try a lot of new things a lot just because why not? It seems like technology is changing and things like that. However, I felt like it would sit on my skin and not really absorb into my skin. And when I started using all the different steps from the serum to the night cream and then the raindrops, which are my favorite, I was noticing that my skin just drank it like it was so thirsty. And the real test is when I got up the next morning and it still felt hydrated. Because normally I'm waking up and it feels really dry because my humidifiers run out of water in the middle of the night. So I've had like a really big experiment going on here in this condo.
It is that's the thing that I always talk about, that the biggest thing that I've noticed is that my skin no longer feels like oily or like in the summer and then dry in the winter. And it's because you just are constantly feeling like you're dressed appropriately for the weather and the conditions. And it's really intuitive. And I always tell people that they get, well, how do I know which one I'm supposed to use which day? And there's a QR code at the top of the bottle. You scan it. Laura, my favorite thing to do is to guess which day I think it's going to be. And then when I'm right, I feel like I've won. You know how like Navy SEALs make their bed in the morning to win at the day and start accomplishing something? This is like how I am about my day cream. When I think like, oh, I think it's going to be a Frosty Summit day. And then it is, I get very excited. But it just becomes so intuitive. You end up I usually have 2. Sometimes in Minnesota, I have to have 3 day creams out just because Minnesota is so insane. I mean, I've had a week. I remember 2 years ago, there was at least 1 week where I used Frosty Summit, Polar, and Temperate all in the same week.
Yeah, I was once in Minnesota. It was also, I went from tropical to polar. It was 5 days and 5 different climates. But I just put this on too here to show everybody. And I don't know if you know that, Laura, but this is really how little you need of this skincare. Very, very little. And it will be enough for your entire face. People over moisturize all the time. And
that would be me.
Yeah. And you use too much, and that's the reason later on why your SPF layer doesn't sit correctly, which then give you less protection because it's all a build up. And what you want to have with a high performing functional skincare like Pour Moi is that it gives you this perfect layer to then, when you're outdoors, put the SPF on top of it. And I'm dying to learn from you, Laura, because, you are so much outdoors, more than probably Elizabeth and I, even on our best day.
Yeah, for sure.
How you feel about SPF and how you use it. I think that everybody is interested in that.
Yes, I am a big advocate of SPF. I will say that the other day I was out cross-country skiing, and during the winter time, my skin is fair and pink undertones, and I am very susceptible to windburn and all the things that ruin your skin barrier. So I've been very familiar with protecting my skin, not only from the sun, but also from wind. And even on a windy day, if you're out fishing or whatever, the wind can do a lot of damage to your skin, including if you have rosacea and things like that. And I was using Pour Moi just the other day, cross-country skiing, when we still had snow, it was cold. And I came back and I thought, because it was quite windy, I was like, this is a test to see if I'm going to have really pink cheeks and you start to feel really warm later that night. And I didn't. That was really interesting to me. But to get back to your question, regarding SPF, I do a lot of layering. So I'll do the regular skincare treatments such as Pour Moi moisturizing and things. And then I will layer an SPF 50 sunscreen. And then I will layer on top of that one that is a mineral-based sunscreen, so a zinc oxide-based sunscreen.
So you do chemical and then mineral on top of it?
I do. And then after that, I take a powder-based sunscreen, which is one of which I use is Color Science. And that is a physical block. I love Color Science for reapplying after you're out in the outdoors because it's basically a mineral powder, but it has an SPF.
Yeah, like easy to use. I know. I
Very
like that
easy
one.
to
I
use.
need to always remember to grab an extra one of those.
It's so good. I recommend it to men too, because in the fishing boat, a lot of times you don't want to put sunscreen on your hands and reapply, and then you're touching fishing lures, or especially if you're fly fishing, any scent or oils can ruin a lot of the pattern of how a lure will swim in the water. That's a whole nother conversation. However, but if you reapply that, it's obviously a dry product. And then even after that, I will, of course, I wear a hat, I wear sunglasses. There's a thing called a buff, which is a very thin piece of fabric. I will have this up to my eyes, up to here, and I'll wear SPF gloves while I'm fishing.
Yeah.
So I go the extra mile. I wear long sleeves SPF shirt. I also wear long pants when I'm out in the water. So I do really protect myself. I do get morning sunlight in my eyes, so I am good on my vitamin D if you're concerned.
I am. I know. That's, I'm like, let's
covered.
remind people that this is when she's like out on the water all day.
Yes.
Right. But normal, like taking bacon out and doing a little morning walk, a hat will suffice.
That's right. I'm not that wild. But if it is on the water and I'm going to be out all day, I go the extra mile for sure.
Yeah.
But
well, the water
nice
reflects.
helps. Yes.
So you don't burn. So that's, I think the best indicator is, as you were saying, you get, heat on your cheeks or you feel any kind of burn. And, so this is great advice for anybody who is out on the boats, because Minnesota, the 10,000 lake state, which is actually 11,000, I heard.
Yeah.
I think we're at like 15 to 17,000 lakes altogether.
Really?
There's a lot of lakes.
Yes. Not all of them are fishable though.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what are the boats with the fishes? Are they allowed to boat? Like in Austria, back in Europe where I'm from, we have so strict rules where you can boat and where you cannot boat because of environmental laws, but also about the fish and plankton in the lakes, that they cannot be disrupted. How is that in Minnesota?
There are many rules and regulations to boating and fishing seasons. And also when you pull your boat out of the water, you have to do a check for things like milfoil or invasive species plants that can ruin the lake. Basically, it's the plantation or the plants in the lake. They can be overrun by invasive species plants, which will ruin the natural vegetation of game fish. So we have a lot of rules and regulations too, which are needed, because we have a lot of things to take care of in our environment.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see if anybody from our wonderful friends on Facebook has any specific questions for Laura about what she does outdoors. I thought it was so interesting to have a chemical sunscreen and a mineral sunscreen on top of it. I have to try that. I've never done it. I'm a big believer, from knowing a lot about the skincare industry, of intentional use of SPF. Like the word intentional, I really learned from Elizabeth. And, I heard that Hailey Bieber now has renamed her line Intentional Skincare.
Wow.
And I'm like, is she also one of your friends? Because that's Elizabeth was saying that already 5 years ago.
She is not, but we always are accepting new girls into the group. So that's always fun. We can always find new friends. I know. And Ulli and I have talked about that a lot before too, because, as Laura's discussing her sunscreen use, it is, and particularly when it's out on like those hot fishing days, it's a lot of like continual application. And what Ulli and I talk a lot about is how people will put like a tinted SPF on, or maybe they're using a moisturizer that isn't Pour Moi that contains sunscreen in it. And so they put it on in the morning at like 7 a.m. and then they think, oh, I'm good to go for the whole day. And what I try to be really strategic about is like, I actually don't put it on in the morning a lot. I'm putting it on before I'm going to be exposed, because it's only good for a couple hours.
Exactly. And actually, after 30 minutes, it's already declining. The mineral holds a little bit longer, but after 2 hours, you're completely out of protection. And they now, so many consumer groups are testing right now. And I think there is not one sunscreen with SPF 50 that actually performs at 50. It kind of cuts off at 30 of using it, because the chemical you would have to put into to create that kind of filter is so extreme to the skin that I think there's also a problem of implementing it. So many people break out and then they don't use sunscreen at all. So, and I know there will be new SPF regulations. I always tell everybody, Europe has the best sunscreen, and it's, 6 to 8 hours. And if you go to Europe, have a European vacation, or your friend goes, don't ask them to bring back chocolate. Ask them to bring back sunscreen from the duty-free shop. That's the best gift you can give them, because it's really superior European SPF for sure. And hopefully soon we have it in the United States, because as much as, they are trying to change the regulation now to comply with the EU, which will bring all these new filters in that are so much more effective. The FDA has not updated since 1993. And as Laura was just saying, she tries always new things, because technology is so fast now. When you do a product and you go to the 2-year testing until it gets to the market, it's already, obsolete almost, because so much new technology has been developed in the meantime. So it's very important, that regulation that we have from 1993, and then SPF, to make an SPF claim on the packaging. It's a drug approved claim. So you have to have the drug label in the bag. That's the only time it's really SPF. And that's always the same, because drugs have to be consistent the same. So you cannot really mix it up or do a better SPF than the other brand because of drug regulation, how it works. So the SPF for $6 works exactly as the SPF for $230 because regulations.
The other thing that I love that we always try to point out to people when they ask why is sunscreen not in Pour Moi day cream, and I mean, Ulli can explain this better, but I'll give you just like the quick version, is that sunscreen, the actual, particles or molecules are big. And so they take up the sunscreen takes up a ton of space in your product, which crowds out the other actives that are in the product. So you really want to have them be separate, and then you want to be able to use them intentionally. So I think people are starting to get that a little bit more now, Ulli, because there was a while where it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there isn't sunscreen in it. And then the more that you kind of get that education, the more you realize, oh gosh, I don't want them together. I want to be able to choose intentionally when I'm using it.
And Nancy, just that the US consumer market is the safest market in the world. So there's no such thing as toxic sunscreen. They would be in prison in a New York second, but you're looking for something that has less chemicals, because it irritates, possibly your complexion, because it stays on the top. Sunscreen is not absorbed into the skin. It literally, some of it absorbs the light and some of it reflects the light, but it's always on the top of your skin. And, the chemical sunscreens have shown in studies, and also what consumer says, that when you have sensitive skin, it can be irritating, and then it triggers rosacea and eczema and all kinds of things. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that in the United States, you can't sell toxic skincare products. So it's a marketing thing to call it non-toxic, but it's very scary. And I want to make sure people know there's no toxic products on the market.
There you go. Chemical
Yeah, there seems to
sunscreens
be
irritate my skin though. I can't use them. They irritate my eyes.
the chemical sunscreen does.
Yeah. Oxybenzone, avobenzone. No bueno for this girl, guys.
Oh,
I'm a zinc and titanium lady. So that's what we go with.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
There seems to be like this push on that sunscreen is bad all of a sudden, and that full sun exposure is really good. Obviously vitamin D is good for you.
Right.
And I think they say like if it's maybe 10 minutes in the sun would be about it. But there's a lot of downsides to not using sunscreen. So I still am a sunscreen believer
Yeah,
as
you
much
gotta
as I
become a
am a
hat
vitamin
person
D
too.
believer.
Don't you
Yeah.
want hats? Hats are so fun.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Hats are so
They're
fun.
really good. And, as you said, made out of that SPF material that blocks the sun, the hats and the
Yeah.
gloves when you're outside. And, and then be really careful with, as you said, you're putting a double layer on it. And that might be a really good tip, Laura. I've never thought about it when you're the whole day on the water. That sounds like something to really think about. Actually, Tim is asking, what are those brands of sunscreens that you're using?
Oh, the ones that I use. I have Color Science. I do use their mineral-based sunscreen. They have a new tinted version now that I really like. And then I use Color Science for their powder sunscreen, and the regular chemical sunscreen I have used Elta, ELTA. I have used IS Clinical SPF 50. I usually use, it's like a one for your face versus
Yeah.
one for the body
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
chemical sunscreen. But I do layer all those three, and then I just reapply the powder Color Science almost every hour, and I put it on my hands too. Like, you don't realize how much damage can happen on your hands. And I was just hearing that a lot of sun damage really happens from driving in your car,
I
which
know.
I think it's like the majority of it on one side of your face and your hands. I'm thinking about driving with gloves like year round.
I know. That's a very chic thing to do.
I know.
Have you
The
seen
SPF
that
gloves are
picture
not
yet?
fancy.
Yes.
Have you
What's
seen this,
that?
Laura?
No.
These are Ulli's hands. This is part of her patent on Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare, is the proof that this works. Isn't this insane?
Wow. So the skincare line actually gets rid of some of the sunspots too, or does it just because of the cell turnover that's happening or allowed to happen?
So brown spots are created in two different ways. They can be either created through DNA damage, which is mostly what we say sun damage that goes deeper into the skin and gives you DNA damage, and it can form brown spots that are more permanent. And then you have brown spots that are created by inflammation, and inflammation is caused by heat. So a lot of women get the brown spots around their hairline from the hair dryer. They're getting too close. And so a lot of the brown spots are, around the hairline. And then, of course, if you are in the sun, it's a combination of sun and heat. Everything that comes from heat, you can completely clean up with skincare by putting the screens in it. We have a lot of the top European photoaging active ingredients, which are antioxidants that help to, reverse it when applied correctly. And so, as Elizabeth was saying, when I did the patent, it's a method patent of changing skincare when climate changes. And they wanted to have a prototype. And it was actually the examiner who says, well, why don't we use your hand? So you have to come to Washington and we're going to swear you in that, you're going to, send a picture every day. And we're just going to do this over a year and see when you change your skincare according to the climate, like a new approach, and then use the latest technology that we have available in performance skincare, which means a thicker barrier that you put into the skincare in the winter when it's dry and cold than you do in the summer where you just need a thin one in the high humidity. And it got this extreme results for me. I started this in 2015. So it's 11 years and the skin has not changed.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
That's what Elizabeth loves so much. It's the no changing. There's no more. And this is my driving hand in California.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It really, what it does is, and that's what you love so much, it's regenerate. It promotes skin's own repair and renewal process, because once you put that barrier, that shield, we call it the Climate Smart Shield in, and you customize it for the weather condition, it slows down the oxidation because you just help the barrier to double up, to strengthen in the right way. and you are able to keep the moisture inside. And when you have humidity, these very weightless, breathable shields allow the humidity to go in. So it can really take advantage of the humidity you have. And if it's too much humidity, like in the summer, when it gets very, very humid, and that's very bad for the skin, then, we keep that humidity outside with a special way of how that shield have it glide off. So you never have your makeup glide off. You never have your SPF glide off in the summer. That's a big problem overall. So this is really the kind of results. So I was always saying, if this is the easiest to explain my hands of what kind of results, if you use it regularly and over time, that you see using Pour More, and thousands of our customers have gotten similar or the same results.
Yeah. And that's the trick. I mean, I think the consistency is really important. And I mean, Laura, like no one is more consistent about like health and wellness habits than Laura. I mean, you are so consistent, and it really is. That is the thing that when you talk about Pour Moi, that it doesn't work if it's sitting on your counter. Like you have to use it and you have to do it. And so, but it really takes just my whole skincare routine takes, I don't know, a minute, 90 seconds. I mean, and I'm like taking all my makeup off and all of that. I also love, and I'm sure Laura, you've noticed this too. I don't know how much shooting you've been doing since you started using Pour Moi, but it is like the best base for makeup. Like your makeup goes on beautifully. There's no need for a primer. You can, if you're using a primer, you can ditch it because there's no pilling there. It is just smooth sailing when it comes to putting makeup on. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have noticed that. So I have not been using my primer with this product, and I have noticed that my makeup looks really smooth on my skin. And especially as we age, your pores get wider and bigger and things like that. And I felt like it looked like it just was smoother. And I was like, because I did just switch foundations too. And I was like,
what's going on
which
here?
I know. I literally was like, what's going on here? But whatever it is, I really like the change. So we're going for it. My bedtime routine takes like 45 minutes, but that's because I have like a million supplements I take for bed and then all the things with the skincare part.
That's
part of my ritual. And that's it's pretty quick.
No, the skincare part is pretty quick. You're right. Yeah. I'm mixing things and frothing things and chugging it down.
Oh, yes.
And magnesium, then, boy, I'm on a particularly bad tasting tincture from my acupuncturist right now. And I'm taking it every night. And I'm like,
those are the worst.
I'm having to like go back to my college days and just take it down like a champ.
I know. I've done some weird cleanses with drops and stuff too. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the parasite should just stay. I don't know.
I love it.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with skincare. But
it's good. It's good stuff.
But yeah, the skincare routine, you do have to be very consistent, but it's worth it, as anything is. Like if you want really good health, even from the inside out, you have to be consistent with what you eat every day. I would say 80% to 90% of the time.
Yeah.
If you want to see really good results, and all of it matters. All of what you're ingesting matters, to your skincare routine matters, to your sleep habits matter. I mean, all of that really matters for great skin. So it feels so good when you get a product that really does something.
Yes.
And you can see a difference on your skin. That is the game changer, because I think all of us are overwhelmed with brands and people sharing, this and that, and you don't really know. It gets so overwhelming as a consumer on what do I really need that is actually going to work. And many times it gets really expensive because packaging is beautiful and it comes in this like cardboard box that's here, and then you open it and the jar is this big and you're like, what did I just
pay for? I know. And Ulli can speak to as well. I think how you work so hard to keep luxury French skincare at an affordable price is amazing. It's amazing. And how important that is to you. The access is really important to you.
Yes, it has been very, very important. I never wanted, my daughter is kind of, close to your age, Elizabeth, and I never wanted her to have like the decision, do I pay for my kid's school or, whatever for like a vacation, or no, I'm paying $1,000 a month in skincare, which is really not what you should do, because skincare has its limitation. And as Laura just so smartly said, it's a 360-degree process. If you use great skincare, but then you smoke and you don't use it regularly, but you just bought the most expensive skincare, then it doesn't really help you. So it's having a healthy lifestyle, having good sleep, having, less stress in your life. I know sometimes it's difficult, but we need to be aware of it, that stress is not good, and it's not good how you look, and it's not good how you feel, and it's not, eventually it gets you physically sick as well. So I know life balance is very, very difficult, and we are the first generation, or, I don't know if we are the first generation or if it's the generation after my generation. I'm Generation X. But this word didn't even exist for my parents or any generation before. They were so focused on work and the way of how you grew up 100 years ago, 50 years ago. It's just so different. And today we have created this beautiful world where we can actually talk about life balance, because overall, as the world, and I would say this includes now Asia and, except, very few parts of the world, everybody's life has become better in the last hundreds and years, and everybody. And so we are, we have the privilege to talk about life balance. And that's, I think, is just wonderful, because we can, the first generation to start enjoying life. I think Generation X was the first generation where we had a real childhood, or, where before the kids had to start working with 7, 8 years, so that was a new concept, childhood, going, playing until you are like 18 years old, more or less, so it's, all very important. We have a question here from Garden. Should sunscreen be applied before or after the moisturizer? And it should be applied after the moisturizer. The moisturizer is creating the base, and the serum goes before the moisturizer. So as thinner your product is, in our case, the hydrating balancer is liquid. It has the ability to penetrate a little bit deeper. When it penetrates a little bit deeper, it has a unique way of how it can hold anti-aging ingredients, hydration molecules, that's becomes really, amazing science that you can, when you use a liquid, a gel, and a moisturizer, which are the 3-step in Pour More, of how you can really create a very, very smart way to keep your skin useful, balanced, calm, and hydrated throughout the day, as Laura was saying. But we have a couple here who are asking about products that keep on selling out, like our night cream came back in the summer, and it was such a big hit that it just sold out again in January. I am so sorry. We did not foresee that it just would sell again so fast. It's coming back in early May, and this time we ordered 4 times as much. So won't be running out as quickly again. I can promise you that. And I have to do this and play around with my little thing here, because this needs to really have
applause is coming.
Yes. Here we go. The black serum will be back either end of March or early April. All the time when we have something, a world conflict comes happening. So now we are in the war in the Middle East. And, just that everybody knows, the Middle East is kind of Europe. So it's affecting European shipping. And we don't know how long it takes. So hopefully it's going to be over very soon. But depending on that shipping, and we're going to air fly it already, but of course, but it will be coming in end of March, beginning April, and I can't wait for it. So when I join you the next time on Twin Cities Live, Elizabeth, we will have the black serum
I
back.
can't wait. Yes.
I know.
That's so
exciting.
great. So I think this would probably be a good time to, Ulli, too, to just go through the 3 steps, because it's helpful to kind of know. I mean, we've had a couple people even ask, like, okay, if maybe I'm not that religious about my skincare routine, which ones should I use? What are the ones that we should be using right now in this stage? And if I know not everybody is in Minnesota, but most people are in the Midwest who are watching.
Yes. So depending of where you are, the star of the show are our day creams. It's real-time optimization, because that's how your skin works. So you can get it every day, right? You never have to guess. You can scan if you're not sure what the weather is. Elizabeth loves to do it, so she's doing a guessing game out of it. But in the moment, the temperate day cream is coming back, which is really, the baseline. It's not too hot, not too cool. And you're going to have days where you're going to have to switch back to the polar day cream, because just as the weather is, it's fickle. One day it's cold, one day it's warm. But with Pour More, you have it perfectly balanced all the time. And I don't know if there's going to be another blizzard, but in the case it is, that's the Frosty Summit. So if you haven't ordered the Frosty Summit, you don't have to order it now for that 1 or 2 times. You can just take the polar day cream for that day. But as we know in the Midwest, one thing we know for sure, winter is coming back within 6 to 7 months. So when it turns October, November, it gets cold again. So just that you know. And I also want to point it out, our packaging, you can close it. So, once you used it and the weather has changed and you don't need it for the next couple of months, just close the pump and put it into your, your cosmetic.
Your back stock.
Yeah, your back stock, and bring it back, and it will be 100% pristine as you opened it 6 months ago. So we really, as we were talking about, Laura was talking about packaging, Pour More has, high performing functional packaging. It's very lightweight because the way of how we have double wall packaging, making sure that there's an outer layer that absorbs any kind of different temperature that is going on. So, and then it has an inner tube where the actual formula sits. So it doesn't have that fluctuation if it gets too warm in your bathroom or too cold in your bathroom. It is protected. It's not as attractive as some other ones, but attractiveness often is a marketing thing that actually hurts the formula. So we came from the point of view, how can we create skincare that works for you every day with the weather, but also of how, the other tricks and knowledge that we bring in to make sure it's protected, the antioxidant stays active, and the formula cannot have any bacteria inside because it's a pump and not a jar. So, all of these things are important. So, Laura, I'm so excited you joined us today. We said join us for 15 minutes, and now
it's so fun.
I know it's like having a little. It's a happy hour. It's so fun.
Hour. One thing I'll also say about the packaging is I love how lightweight it is.
Yeah.
Because when you're on the road a lot and you start adding all the things into your travel kit that you want to take with you, including the heaviest jar of moisturizer cream you've ever felt, and it all adds up. I'm like, this stuff is so heavy, where the packaging still feels lightweight but durable. It's not, it's not going to fall apart or crack or anything like that. But I do appreciate how lightweight it is for travel specifically. But
So good.
And that's also for, using as little plastic as possible. Plastic is a wonderful material. If we wouldn't have plastic, we couldn't do heart surgery. And, I would say 99% of medical procedure wouldn't work without plastic. It's just that we have abused plastic in a horrific way that it became a negative word. But you want to have your skincare in a reasonable recyclable plastic, where you don't use like such, when you have this heavy plastic, it's also cheap plastic. So it's done with little love to how this is put together. So pour more, this is really a very special packaging. And functional, because we have high performing because of performing skincare. And at the end of the day, that's what skincare should do. You pay for it, and it should give you that hydration, calmness, balance, and a useful, real results. You want to have visible results. That's what everybody is after, that their skin gets better.
See, it's so good. And Laura, now this is so exciting because now when I come visit you when you're in Austin,
yes,
I don't have to bring my skincare. So this just happened
You're
to me
right.
when I was in Hawaii visiting Tanya, who my best friend Tanya.
I do know Tanya.
And I was like, I don't have to bring my skincare because at her Hawaii house, she has it totally stocked for me. And then
Perfect.
now the same
Yes.
will be for me. And this makes things very convenient.
It does, doesn't it? 100%. We'll have it all ready for you.
I
the
want to
whole
travel
lineup.
to all my friends' houses when they eat the same way that I do and they use
Isn't
the
it so
same
nice?
skincare. And Laura 100% qualifies. So
We
it's
put
the
heavy
best.
cream in our coffee.
We put heavy cream in our coffee, and I have dug through her fridge to find things
yes.
for me and my children. So that will
Yes.
continue.
Works so perfect.
It's so
So-
fun.
Last question Lori has, and she said, does the night cream help with wrinkles or just a deep moisturizer? So all Pour More products have anti-wrinkle peptides. So they have a lot of the peptides in there that help with that skin signaling, where you can see that, the collagen starts to rebuild itself because the peptides are really skin signaling ingredients that have been used in Europe. La Prairie was kind of the first one bringing it in, and Sisley and all the European top lines. But in the United States, it really became like the last 5 years, 6 years, a buzzword. And just that, Lori, Pour More has all the anti-aging skincare ingredients to the right amount that they are clinically tested to actually give you results. So all of that is in the moisturizer, but nothing of that works if the hydration is off. Dry skin is the killer of any kind. You can take the most effective and efficient skincare, and if the skincare doesn't, if the skin doesn't stay moist and hydrated, not overhydrated, not underhydrated, like there is a range that it has to be in there for this ingredient to actually work. And so that tie in with the weather, the humidity and temperature level is actually the most important one. And I actually uploaded this one today, especially for, Laura, because she's learning still about all of this. And this is one of our ingredient that has clinical studies. Yeah, what? We have a winner. Okay. But you can just see on this one, Mossel Tech. This is an ingredient that is studied for environmental impact. They have incredible studies. And as you can see, the gray shows the impact from the environment. And in this case, it's the LCE1A that when temperature swings and changes impact your skin. And what you want to do is help the skin to have that barrier not struggle with it, but adjust to it or adapt to it as soon as possible. So you can see in these studies that the gray is the control group who doesn't have moss cell tech. Okay. And you have here the different environments. And the little green one here sees is that the skin is calm, balanced, and, any ingredient you put on the skin works at top level. And then you put in moss cell tech at 2%, and you can see in a high humid environment, you have almost normal level. So you go from a normal environment into heat and humidity, like when you step out, and your skin doesn't feel the effect as it would without that barrier with the moss cell tech in it. As you can see, with cold and dry, it doesn't work that well. It still brings it almost 50% down. And that's how Pour More, we create these climate smart screens and shields, but then we customize it with the ingredients that are studied in the environment. So for cold and dry, we are actually using plants, stem cells from plants that have survived the ice age. So as the ice caps are melting in Europe, in Switzerland and France, they can dig through the ice, and they found plants that survived, that have thriving under the ice. I'm sure you're aware of it, Laura, with, everything you do with the outdoors. We take them, or the ingredient manufacturer that we work, which is a top one, they won all the awards for it. And they created stem cells and regrow them in the laboratory. So we don't take them out of nature. They are so rare. They are under protection. They only take a certain amount. They regrow them in the laboratory and then create the stem cells out of it. And then, we call it the red algae, which is not really an algae, but it creates a red color around the green to protect itself from the environment. And then the cold and dry is just as much down as it is with hot and humid. So I kind of wanted to bring one ingredient out, not making it too complicated, to show there has been done tremendous research on ingredients in environments that just a game changer for skincare.
So good.
Wow.
The other thing too is if you go to the Pour Moi website, I love the transparency about the ingredients, and that's really helpful too. So you can see all of the ingredients that are in there, that are in all of the products, and I love that. Okay, Ulli, we have got a couple of other really good questions. Do you want to get to those, or do you want to get to the winner?
Absolutely. Yes, let's really quick, and then we go to the winner. Laura, do you have still time, or do you have some dinner plans you have to go to?
No, my bedtime routine starts in 5 minutes.
I'm like, Laura would never eat past 8 o'clock. There's no way she's going to dinner right now.
No. I live my dinner's normally at 5. I take my nighttime supplements at 8. I'm in bed by 9.
Oh my God.
My dog's already put himself to bed. He's been sleeping for an hour.
Will you go pick up Bernie from gymnastics at 9? Because I have to do that. And I will literally go in my pajamas and I will deliver her a smoothie, just so you know.
She's growing up so fast. She goes to 9 o'clock. Gymnastics. She's like a young woman already.
I know.
Until 9. Wow.
That late night kind of stresses me out, but she is out a little bit late. Okay. So this is good. Michelle wants to know, during what season should I use the raindrops and sunlight drops? I have both. I also have the smoke alarm drops. So the weatherproof drops are fantastic. They're an addition. You add a drop to your day cream. You do not need to use them at night. Using them in the day is the way to do it. But I think a quick breakdown, Ulli, on how to use those would be really helpful for people.
Yes. So first of all, a lot of people have a hard time to get the product out. You just open it, then you squeeze it, then you release, and then it fills up completely, as you can see. So then, I went ahead of it, but you just put a little bit of your day cream. And as I said, a small pump. And
see that, Laura? Small pump.
I know. It's so
One
tempting to
drop.
keep going because it just
I-
feels so good. You just want to
know.
keep
One
adding.
drop.
One
Yes.
drop.
Okay.
And then you just mix it together, be your own alchemist, and then you put it on the skin.
Yep. So when
Yep.
should you use the raindrops? So the sunlight drops I use on days when either it's cloudy or I know I'm not going to be outside and getting a lot of sunlight, which to me kind of ends up being about every day. I love the sunlight drops and I love the little bit of like glow that it gives my skin.
Yes. So the sunlight drop is a vitamin D like boost because vitamin D doesn't work in skincare as vitamin A or E or C does.
It doesn't work topically.
It doesn't work topically.
Mhm.
The problem is when you take the supplements, as Laura was talking about it, they don't break through the skin barrier. So what you eat and drink stays here, which is the largest part of the skin and makes your skin look supple and healthy. But so that's very, very important. But you also need that vitamin D in this upper part. As we have the natural moisturizing factor there that has a lot of amino acids, humectants itself, glycerin, hyaluronic acid, and it also has, a few of the vitamin D receptors that are sitting right there on the bottom, and they don't get activated. So in Europe, with sunscreen, and I think that's why Laura made that comment, when you use a lot of sunscreen, then your vitamin D levels go down in your skin because you don't get them. So what they did already like 15 years ago, they were looking for an ingredient coming out of drugs as well, also for people who have skin cancer, that would create vitamin D-like action in the skin. And again, it's kind of like a peptide, so it kind of talks to the lower level and then reactivates that vitamin D receptors that are just right sitting in that skin barrier, and you can really hardly reach them with taking a supplement of vitamin C, of vitamin D. So this is the chicory root active. It's already in Europe in a lot of drugs that are dealing with skin cancer. It's almost in almost all sunscreen. That's why I was talking about how superior it is. In Europe, in the United States, it's almost unknown, this ingredient, to be honest. I think we're the only one in the market with it. And so what it does, it helps the barrier repair in a unique way, like natural sunlight does. And it activates 40%, almost 40% of the skin receptors that are sitting in between. I think the barrier repair, you see already like a 40-50% within a 1 day, and you see incredibly results. We have it on the website, the entire study around it. We also put some gold pigments in it, and that's what you were talking, what you like so much, coming out of, so you immediately, it's just very subtle, get this healthy glow when you put them on. So we have a little bit of cosmetic in this product as well. It's an instant solution to dull, skin that you get really in the winter because you don't have enough light. But if you use the sunlight drops, you're gonna get that vitamin D like action in your skin, and it will never get dull. And how you use it in the winter is you put 1 drop of sunlight drops and 1 drop of raindrops to your moisturizer. Mix them all together and use them on your skin. And that's what you always did, Elizabeth, you know?
Yeah, that's what I do. I add those 2 every day. And then the smoke alarm drops depends on where I'm going to be. I always keep those. If like Laura, you'll love those when you're at a cabin and you're going to be doing a bonfire. I always bring those along because then I just put, even, when I go inside to grab my sweatshirt to head out to the bonfire, I just add on the smoke alarm drops on top so that all of those smoke particles, those little fine particles, aren't sitting on my skin and aging it. So that's helpful. And then a lot of times I even use the smoke alarm drops a lot in the winter because there's just so much exhaust. You know, I mean, like I was just driving behind a truck that was so exhaust filled today. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I have smoke alarm drops on my face because,
So much
you know, it's
matter
coming in your car through the vents
Yeah.
and through all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of, it's amazing the smoke exposure. And if you use a little tiny drop of each one, they last a really long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if you're snowmobiling or if you're ATV
Yes.
riding in the summer, then you should absolutely have those. Plus, there's a lot of wildfires. I mean, we had quite a few smoky days here in Minnesota from the Canadian wildfires.
Bad.
Obviously, California knows about that. So those are very good to have on hand.
And
but-
Ulli has been amazing about sending them to firefighters, sending them for free to firefighters. She sent them free to people in LA who were impacted by the fires that were so devastating, and was very clear that, you know, obviously when you're losing your home, skincare is probably the last thing you're thinking of. But there were huge amounts of people impacted by the smoke. And she was like, if you're in LA and you're impacted by smoke, we'll send them to you for free. And I think we
paid for shipping too, so they didn't have to worry about anything. And we said, do you know somebody in LA? Just give us the address and we ship, and pay for the shipping as well. And Laura, the smoke alarm drops is the only skincare product that is 100%, that is clinically tested against wildfire smoke and protects 100%. So it was tested over and over and over, because in a lab environment, today you can take human skin and you keep it alive for 48 hours. And that's how they test UV now and how they test heavy smoke and pollution, because they can really, for 6-8 hours, just, and then they see the control room, the control group has like inflammation and damage in a very, very short period of time. And then they look against the products and see, how do they work. And Pourmore is our smoke alarm drop. It won Popular Science Invention of the Year. Every science award that can be out there when they launched in 22 is the only product to prevent 100% of damage. So in the world where nothing works 100%, I can only tell you smoke alarm drops do protect 100%.
It's so good.
Wow.
I'm going to donate my skin to science when I pass on, and all those scientists are going to be like, wow, look how amazing she's been using Boardwalk Climate Smart skincare.
Nothing is damaging her skin.
I know. Hello.
Well, that's the future that we hope that we're going to get so good that nothing is really, that you can protect yourself, like clothing, better materials. You are from the fashion industry. It's amazing that innovation in materials today, that you can protect yourself. And I have to do for Janine, to her comment right now.
Okay, so everybody, we've got to announce the winner. I'm so excited for whoever's going to win this necklace. Will be so great. And you guys are all seeing the special code that you can use, FB30, so you can take 30% off store wide. Ulli always does a really fun, generous code when we do these Facebook Lives, which is so great. And I'm loving Sarah and Shelby are both piping in with answers to a lot of your questions if we're not covering the question as well. But Laura, you got to stay for the quick reveal of who wins the necklace from the Emerald Karat. I know you're an Emerald Karat fan.
Yes, beautiful. I love that it's vintage too.
I know.
That just makes
Jenna says it's hand painted, and it has like a hand painted flower. And when you turn it around, it's little clouds. It's perfect for spring.
Ooh, beautiful.
I gotta go that way.
Changes. Yes.
It's so pretty. And whoever wins, we will ship it out to you tomorrow. I'll have it shipped from the station.
Yeah, right, Elizabeth is so good. Yeah. So hold on, Trump. Okay, like we have this new thing. I was just
Well, thank you everyone for entering. We're so excited, and all the comments and the interaction on Facebook tonight. And I'm just drawing it out so that you all just build up that intense excitement. The winner is Beverly Polt from Rochester, Minnesota.
My God.
Congrats, Beverly.
Congratulations, Beverly.
You probably watches Twin Cities Live on ABC6. Yay.
Yeah, love that.
Beverly, I will reach out to you to confirm your address, and we will get this right out to you. And one really interesting tidbit, Beverly, you spell your name the same way my mother spells it, which Beverly with an EY, which isn't as common. So anyway, very exciting, and congratulations, Beverly.
Oh my gosh. Enjoy, Beverly. So exciting. What a fun night. You guys,
This
these
was
are the
so
best.
fun.
I know. See, we always go over time because we have too much fun chatting, Laura. It's like anytime we get together as friends, it's just
Yeah,
we
but
can't.
you
I
have
know.
to pick up Bernie. She is number one priority.
Yeah.
So, and you have to get the
Yes.
smoothie. So there's a lot you have to do at 9 o'clock at night.
There's a lot. The smoothie is really outstanding and she requires it. My elite gymnastics athlete.
in the smoothie, just to curious what Bernie
I
has.
do. Thank you for asking, Uli. I do half a frozen banana. I do some frozen strawberries. She does like it
Nice.
simple. She likes a chocolate protein powder, and then I do some whole milk in there, so she gets lots of good fat with that fruit, and then the
Love it.
protein. And I will tell you, she used to get really hangry. I'd pick her up after those 3-hour
Yeah.
practices, and she would be very challenging in the car. And I was like, finally started to think, I don't think that she hates me or she hates gymnastics. I think she's hungry. So I started bringing a smoothie with me. I was just telling a couple of the other gymnast moms about this, and it like changed our whole life with the drive home.
That's
don't
a
know.
really good tip. So
Yeah.
all
I'm so
the
excited she's drinking
grandmom
protein.
and
I
aunts to pass it on, because at the end of the day, and then so much exercise, you must be tired and
Yes.
hungry.
Yeah.
And-
And I had a couple of the other moms at the meet the other day. They were like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to bring it to her. And then you're also not like, getting home and having to make something. It's like already made and in the car. And then she's in good spirits. So it'll be fun. But she's having a good time. My little active bear.
That's awesome. Plus, she's
Yes.
getting all that good protein in right before sleep, so her muscles can repair and recover and
See?
do all that. So
Laura
good.
approved.
I
This
do,
is very
yeah.
good. Should we share that Laura's going to be on Twin Cities Live? Do you think we should mention this?
Yes, that would
I'm
be
so excited.
wonderful. I think everybody's excited. So, Elizabeth, can you give us the details?
I can. March 12th, Laura is going to be on Twin Cities Live, and she is going to be sharing all sorts of her favorite things. This is like when I get together with Laura and I pepper her with questions of what are you using for this? What do you like for this? She's going to spill a whole bunch of secrets. Pour Moi will, of course, be one of those secrets, but she's got all sorts of
Yes.
great things to share in terms of like the supplements that make a big difference to her. Some of her favorite fitness hacks, particularly if you're over 40.
Oh,
Some
yes.
things that you should really be prioritizing. And then we'll dig into some skincare as well. So I think it's going to be really fun. March 12th, Laura will be back on Twin Cities Live, and you can watch Minnesota Bound. She has joined the Hubbard family, the
Yes, we're
show
so
that Laura's
excited.
dad started. That is, of course, an institution in Minnesota. Now airs with us, which
I
is
know it's
So
been so
great.
fun to join the Hubbard family. We love it.
love it too.
I was in Minnesota and watched it when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the skiing. I was telling Laura that I haven't seen that where the horse or the dog is kind of pulling you on the
Oh
ski.
yeah,
Ski joring.
Joring.
Yeah, that's the word. And it just, I'm going to have to try this. I just was so intrigued in it. So there's so many fun things that you can do outdoors. I know everybody says hunting and fishing and skiing, but then when you get down to it, there's so many different kinds of how you can do fun things with skiing. And I'm sure that's with fishing and with horse riding and everything. There's such a world to discover, and where we are talking about life, stress balance and work balance. I think going more outdoors, if we learned anything in this pandemic, is to really prioritize, nature, prioritize how we take care of ourselves, and prioritize how we spend our time outdoors. And it doesn't have to be something expensive or crazy. Your show shows so many wonderful things that you can just easily do. And so I'm encouraging everybody to watch it as well. I loved it.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, we are big advocates of encouraging people to go outdoors. There's enough research out there that shows how much it helps your mental health and your well-being and your stress levels and your cortisol levels and all the things that are not necessarily good for you, that even just taking 5 minutes to sit next to a tree and just be still and listen to how nature works, and get out of your own head is so good for you. So it's important. Nature is important. That is for sure. It's a
very
gift.
important.
And if you stay curious about it forever, you will learn something really interesting every day when you're out there.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that, Laura. That's so
Yes,
special.
it's good.
Yeah.
So good. All right, friends. What
Okay.
a joy.
This was so fun.
Oh my God.
So
Thank
wonderful.
you so much.
Yes, and we are so much looking forward for the next one in a few months. And I wish everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Laura and Sarah, for helping out, and then everybody of our friends. Thank you so much for taking the hour to spend with us. We love you, and we very much appreciate, that you're choosing Pour More in a world where, as Laura said, so many choices. And so thank you very much.
Yay. Good night.
Thanks,
Use that
everyone.
code.
Thank you.
Use that code. Have
Bye.
fun. Bye.
Bye.